Welcome to the DVD. It's the ultimate podcast for women over 40 who are ready to take control of their health, ditch the diets, and lose weight for good. I'm your host and coach, Danya Powers, and today we are going to be talking about something that I've been getting so many questions about in my community lately. And honestly, it's something that I've been learning about a lot myself just because it is here, it is present, and I want to make sure I'm giving out good information, and that is peptides. You've seen them all over social media. You've probably heard words like collagen, semaglutide, BPC-157, and thought, what in the world is everyone talking about? I know I did. Is this for me? Is this safe? Do I need this? I feel like those questions are coming at me all the time. Even myself, I've been asking. And today we're going to break it all down. And I mean all of it. We're going to explain every major peptide using real life analogies so that you guys have a really good feel of it. So that by the end of this episode, you actually factually understand what you're hearing about, or at least have a good idea of what you're hearing about, not just pretending and nodding along or being like, oh, that's something medical. I don't need that. I also I worked really hard on a free Diva Peptide 101 guide that goes along with this episode. The download for it will be in the show notes for you. But if you want something to go with it, that'll be free for you to just go download. It will be in a PDF format. Or you can find me on Instagram at Danya Powers EC, comment the word peptide, and we'll start chatting and I can send it to you. Or if you just have questions in general, it is only me that answers, believe it or not, that answers all of my social media. So I'm a busy bee on social media. I spend about 4 hours a day, maybe more sometimes, just answering questions, just going through messages, and working on presenting my best self to you guys so that you guys have a voice for a woman over 40 that's not just trying to sell you, peptides. And I'm not selling you peptides here. I don't have a partnership with a peptide company, but let's get into it because I do think that that's a great place to segue to. And that is, what are peptides? I mean, what even is a peptide? I think that was a big question for me because aren't there peptides in food? Doesn't our body start to produce peptides from food? Here's the simplest way that I can explain it, because you know how words are made of letters and sentences are made of words. If you think of amino acids like letters, proteins are like the long sentences, lots of amino acids strung together, and peptides are like short phrases. So just a few amino acids lined up. And because they are shorter, they can move through your body faster and target really specific things. Think about it like a text message versus a whole letter. Does that make sense? Your body actually makes peptides naturally. They are messengers, basically. That's what they are. They tell your cells what to do. They're going to be like, repair this, produce that, regulate this hormone, calm down that inflammation. So they're just kind of like the directors of your body. The reason the peptides are having such a moment right now is that science has gotten really good at creating synthetic versions of these messengers and using them to send really specific instructions to parts of the body. And so some of those things that you can get, you can actually buy over the counter. Some of them require a prescription, and some are being sold on ways online that honestly are a little bit sketchy and I'm not comfortable with, but we're going to talk about that too. Everybody has different comfort levels with what they purchase online. And so let's start with the peptides that are safe, because the peptides that are safe are widely available, and many of you are probably really using them without even realizing that you are using peptides. Collagen, let's talk about that one. That one's everywhere. That was like so popular. It's still very popular, but you've seen it. You may have used it. A lot of my clients put it in their coffee because that was the thing. Powders, gummies, drinks, and it's pretty much everywhere. So think of your body like a house, and collagen is the framework of the house. The studs in the walls, the support beams, the foundation. And as we age, the framework starts to break down. Things get a little bit looser, creakier, skin starts to sag, joints start to really ache, gut lining gets a little bit more permeable, stuff like that. And collagen peptides are like sending in a little repair crew to patch up the framework of your home. Does that make sense? Are you feeling me on that analogy? They support your skin, the elasticity of your skin, your joint health, your bone density, and your gut lining. And so for women over 40, especially in perimenopause, when estrogen drops and collagen drops with it, That is a big deal. Okay. The good news is that collagen is one of the most available, safest, accessible peptides out there. You can grab it pretty much at any health food store. I feel like it's in a bucket at Sam's even. You can stick it in your coffee, your smoothie. You're good. You're good to go. We're going to talk about carnosine. Carnosine is one that I heard about for years. It's a little less talked about, but it's a really cool peptide. And if you think about it like a bodyguard for your muscles and for your brain, I think that's a really good explanation of it. It's a natural antioxidant, and with an antioxidant, that means it fights the oxidative stress that kind of comes from exercise and aging. The best explanation visually I could give you is if you think of a cast iron skillet, when it gets really, really rusty, it's oxidized, okay? And we go and we clean it. And now we if we have to re-oil it if it's rusty or whatever, but that rust cleans right off. That's what an antioxidant does in our system. So that's really what carnosine does. And so that's our exercising, our aging, and really honestly, when you're over 40, just freaking life, right? That may help with performance. Honestly, it's going to help with recovery, is what I was always taught as a trainer, and healthy aging. You can find it in capsules or powders, and it is considered generally safe. Or that is, I've always been taught that carnosine was safe, so I've never been taught anything different. Let's pronounce this together. Glutathione is often called the master antioxidant. And if I said that wrong, I'm so sorry. I didn't actually look up how to pronounce that. But if you think about like carnosine being the bodyguard, glutathione is the head of the security. So you have your bodyguard and then you have your head of the bodyguards. It supports detoxification. It's going to help your liver do its job. It supports your immune function, and it helps with cellular repair. So you'll see that in oral supplements, generally speaking. Liposomal forms and even IV drops at wellness clinics. I've heard, my daughter goes to a wellness clinic for IV drip. She's having an HG pregnancy, and just a tip, that's been a lifesaver for her to stay hydrated, even though she's vomiting all the time because of the HG pregnancy. But that is where I have heard of the oh my gosh, the glutathione inside of the drips, inside of those wow, let me just do a bad job right here. Inside of the IV drips, that is helping everything do its job inside of your body, but you can get it mostly at IV clinics. I would say is probably the most injectable way that you can get it, but the oral versions kind of vary in how well they're absorbed. So maybe it's called liposomal, which means it's wrapped up in fat, because lipo, think about lipo, I say lipo because I'm thinking liposuction, but when you have fatty tumors, they're lipomas. So somebody fixed me. So I'm thinking liposomal is how it's flowing a little better. If that's wrong, please forgive me. But it means that it's wrapped in a fat layer to help get it into your cells, because we need, water soluble things. We also need fat soluble things. And this just happens to be one of those fat soluble things. And if you can get it in a liposomal format, it tends to work better because your cells respond to it better. Because cells don't always respond to synthetics. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They just have gotten really good at creating synthetics through science. So, okay, those are all of the ones that you can buy at the store. My introduction to these particular peptides have always been through other trainers, through bodybuilders and stuff like that. My underwear is totally betraying me today. If you're watching me, it's because I have a pair of underwear that just keeps rolling down. And I'm like, why? Why today? Why? When I'm on camera? Why would you roll underwear? And it is. So, but anyway, the reality is you want to take things that are good for you. But if you are not, with all of these things, guys, I want you to keep this in mind. If you are not eating to sustain, if you're not eating to support, none of this is really going to help you. The body is going to not just take stuff in just because it's appearing to be food. It's actually looking for food, and it will turn to food first over pretty much anything. So when we get into these ones, Goldie, I'm so sorry about the dog. Goldie, no ma'am. Would you like a dog? Anyway, we're going to get into the ones that I don't know as much about. These are the ones I've been studying. These are the ones that I've been reaching out to friends. I've reached out to other coaches. I've taken courses with other coaches just to learn a little bit more, to understand. We're getting into the ones that require just a little bit more conversation, and that's the therapeutic peptides. These are the ones that you've been seeing all over TikTok. These are the ones that you're potentially seeing all over Instagram, and they almost sound too good to be true. Sometimes that's true, so just use your little thinker, that your spidey tingle, your Peter tingle. So let's walk through each one, and that's going to help us understand what's actually happening. My most interested one of late is BP-157, BPC-157. And the reason being, I have an L4, L5 injury. I'm seeing an oral surgeon about, or oral surgeon. Lord have mercy. I will not be seeing an oral surgeon about my spinal issue. I will be seeing a neurosurgeon tomorrow, but the BPC stands for body protection compound. And I was immediately drawn to it, honestly, because the name really tells you a lot. Because the first thing I did was look up, what does BPC stand for? And the way that I had it described to me, and I felt like this was really effective, is imagine that your body is a city and there's been some damage, like a road caved in or a building got damaged, and there's inflammation absolutely everywhere. BPC 157 is like the emergency response team that would come in to the site of the damage and start the repair process, or at least, safety line it off so that things don't continue to get damaged. And so they've done studies with it, and this is where I'm very hesitant to just buy an injectable from any Joe Schmo on the street. I talked to my doctor at length about this, and it's not FDA approved. Not that the FDA is the end all be all, but they've really only studied it in animals. There's not been a whole lot of human clinicals. I couldn't find any. I've had testimonials, people telling me things that they really liked it, but I didn't. Even in the testimonials that I got, it's from people that are trying to sell you peptides. So I don't know, how much is actually for real, for real. The stuff that they did for the animals, they used injectables. They did have they're interesting studies if you're interested I'm such a study nerd. They're very interesting studies. If you want to just check out some of the BPC 157 studies, I encourage you to do that. If I can remember to do it, I will try to link the ones that I read in the description, the show notes, on YouTube. That way you have a good idea of what I read. And if you feel free to correct me, because I'm not trying to badmouth any of this at this point. I feel like it's here to stay. So I'm trying to embrace it, but I'm also trying to embrace it in the smart way, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to throw something at you, sell something to you. I'm trying to help you understand what is out there so that you don't just willy-nilly think, oh, this is going to fix my problem. But what interested me about BPC as well is women over 40, when they come to me, a lot of times they have gut issues. And the biggest thing that they talk about with it is that it heals the gut. And so that in itself is going to help create tissue repair. It's going to reduce inflammation, and it's going to speed up recovery from a variety of injuries, just fixing gut health. We know that, if you've learned nothing over the last several years, we know that gut health is everything. It's everything. And so the results in the animal studies were seriously, genuinely impressive. So here's the catch, and I want you to be really honest. I want to be really honest with you here. The BP-157, I've already said it's not FDA approved for human use. It's currently classified as a research chemical, which means it's not legally intended for consumer use. And so that's where I get a little bit like, because it's being sold all over the internet. So I'm not super comfortable saying you should buy this today. This is the one that if it gets FDA approved, I'll be the first one in line to be like, inject me, because I am very interested in this particular product. If you are curious about BPC 157, please talk to your provider first. Don't just buy something random off a website because someone on TikTok said it healed their gut. Don't just buy something unless you have looked at a study. I feel like testimonials are really, really powerful, but if you're buying it from someone on TikTok, you'll notice if you followed me for any amount of time, if I'm selling you something on there, is because I really like it. I don't just get on there to sell stuff. Even in fact, the bra that caused me to have my first video over 1 million views, um, I really like that bra. When you are big chested and to have a center hook bra that actually works and makes your girls look good, come on now. And it also hides back fats. So I'm sold, right? So that bra, I've sold a bunch of those bras, not because I'm trying to sell bras, but honestly, people just, we're looking for good bras. Bras suck. They really do. And you see all these like fake boobed women trying to sell bras. Anyways, I'm off on a tangent, but don't just buy something just because TikTok said it. Okay. Really, really, you need to do some research with this. This is not something that you is going to fix. I don't feel like this is going to be like Wolverine value on my back. Does that make sense? These ones that we're going to talk about next are totally new to me. But these two are almost always talked about together because they work as a team as well. Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. These ones are called CJC-1295 and ipamorelin and CJC-1295. Okay. And so your body has like a hormone factory. Okay. CJC-1295 is like the manager who says, okay, we need to produce more. And the ipamorelin, let me see if I pronounce that right. Let me look at that word, ipamorelin, yes, is like the worker who actually goes in and does the production, but does it in small, controlled pulses instead of one big flood. So it's like work, work, work. So together, they actually work to support hormone release, which can actually help with muscle recovery. It can help with body composition. It can help with energy, and it can help with anti-aging goals. And that is where I've read about them used the most. These are prescription only. You actually need a provider to prescribe them, and that's actually a good thing because I feel like people with growth hormone, that could always get out of hand, and it's powerful. You don't want to mess with it. That's not something you want to play with. It really is not something you want to play with, especially when you say growth hormone and you put men in the same sentence. There's no telling what would happen with that. You see what I'm saying? There's a variety of things that shouldn't be growing that would be growing potentially. Anyways, that's just me. TA1 is how I'm going to say this. It's like thymosinol alpha 1. TA1 is what it's short for. This one is very interesting to me because this is for the immune system. And I don't think that we focus on the immune system as much as we should. I think that sometimes we are focused on losing weight and and we end up compromising our immune system. So we need to focus on it. So your immune system's that army, and it's that army sometimes gets confused. And it's either something where you underact and you get sick all the time, or you overact and you end up with like autoimmune issues, like chronic inflammation stuff. You know what I mean? And TAA1 is like a really wise general who comes in and he's helping to regulate the troops. Like, calm down here, activate here, get everything back in balance for your system. So the TA1 has been studied for chronic infections. Isn't that amazing? Actually, I think that's pretty awesome. Autoimmune infections. I think about some of the stuff that really has plagued my clients who have autoimmune disorders. Helps with immune modulation, and it's available by prescription, and it's sometimes used. What I was reading about is in integrative and functional medicine, those studies. And so let's get to the one that everybody's talking about, and that's the semaglutide. Okay, semaglutide. You know, Ozempic, Wegovy, all those things. Okay. And I know you have questions, and I have clients that are on GLP-1s. I do. Your volume, appetite volume has a knob. It does. It has a knob. And because we have abused that knob, sometimes it is broken on women. It really is. And I can try to talk to them all day long about getting their protein in. And if they would do it, it would really help because it naturally activates GLP-1. But people are going to do what they're going to do. People do what they're going to do. And I cannot force them to do anything different. But for a lot of women, especially after 40, you know, things are changing. Hormone changes, cortisol dysregulation is probably the biggest thing that I run into. That volume knob gets stuck on loud is the best way that I can describe it. And that's where you hear the term food noise coming in. And you're hungry all the time, cravings are intense, you eat and you don't feel satisfied, those sorts of things. Now, having said that, if you are that person, go eat 6 ounces of chicken and then tell me you hear the same noise. It's just, if you get enough of the right things, it really does help to calm it down. It may not make it go away completely because we've abused our bodies for so long. We've chronically dieted ourselves into this. So, ooh, are we back? Okay. So, anyway, semaglutide turns the volume down. It is a GLP-1. It is an agonist, which means it mimics a hormone that your gut naturally produces after you eat. So it's the one that tells your body, okay, we're full, we can stop now. And it also helps regulate blood sugar, which is huge for women in perimenopause. And it is FDA approved. So originally it was for type 2 diabetes, and now it is for weight management. And it works. It really does work. The research is very solid on semaglutides. This is Danya East. This is Danya's hat. Okay. I want you to understand this. A semaglutide is a tool. It is a tool. It is not a replacement for building healthy habits. And that is what I hate about this particular product, because the medical industry, and you've heard me talk about this, they're very irresponsible giving this out. And I feel that they should be held legally accountable for what they are doing. So that is my big with it, because I get women who have wasted away to nothing, and they are very weak, and it is incredibly hard to put muscle on someone who has given it away. And so it is not a replacement for building those healthy habits. And I cannot emphasize that enough. The women who do best on it are the ones who use it as a bridge, who basically force themselves to eat the right foods, and that helps them regulate an appetite coming off of the semaglutide. You don't want to stay on semaglutide for life. They haven't done enough studies on this. I have seen a lot of class action lawsuits coming around, which I'm sure are going to continue to increase. You don't want to be the victim of a side effect from something that hasn't been heavily tested. So you don't want to stay on it super long. We don't know what the long-term effects are. You know what I mean? So use it to get your appetite under control. And then my women, they build, we build the nutrition and the movement together. And that is what is going to give us long-term results. We also try to set a goal with a deadline, like how much weight do we want to lose before we come off the semaglutide? And I'm really direct with my GLP-1 clients. It is very hard to get them to eat. It's very hard to get them to understand that they can still get chunky, even on a GLP-1, if they're starving themselves. Sorry, but you can. There's a point in time where your metabolism just tanks and goes, never mind, we're not doing this. So it absolutely needs to be used under the care of a very, very, very well decorated and well understanding person of nutrition healthcare provider. It is not something to play with. The side effects are real. The dosing matters. One of my clients was doing so great, and the doctor upped her dose, and she threw up for 15 days straight. And I told her, you do not have to take this dose. You go tell your doctor to take it back down. She went and took it back down, but it took us 3 weeks to even get back into being able to eat food because she was so sick. So it's not something to play with. And be very, very mindful of the how you up your dose, et cetera. So I've learned so much about GLP-1 over the last 2 years. It is not a DIY. It is not. And the pills that they sell on the market, a lot of them are just filled with fiber. So they're going to make you gassy and bloated. You're not going to be happy with that. So just kind of keep that in mind. You want to have a really good healthcare provider. And if that healthcare provider does not hand you an exact nutrition plan and hand you an exact workout plan, run away. They are not worthy of your money, time, or energy, and they don't deserve to be in that position. I am very adamant about that. It makes me angry. Ask me about it again. So let's just really talk about the safety of this and within all of this, because I think that probably matters to me the most. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. Peptides are having their moment. I'm okay with that. A moment comes with a lot of stuff being sold online. You just need to really be careful about it. I get asked to sell peptides all the time. Like, you'd be great at selling peptides. Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about your company. No, thank you. No, thank you. Or I go look them up, and it's a no, thank you. Because here's my rule of thumb. If it's an everyday peptide, collagen, carnosine, glutathione, glutathione. I can't remember how to pronounce that. That one I should know. Buy from reputable brands. Make sure that you're not just buying from, you have to be really careful about TikTok. You have to be really careful about Amazon. If you're buying from a specific company in Amazon, buy it from their store. Don't just randomly go buy it on Amazon. Like if you want to buy a pair of Saucony shoes and you go to Amazon to buy Saucony shoes, those are made from little slaves in, some Asian country, and they're not actually Saucony. So if you go into the Amazon store, you go to the Saucony store in Amazon, you need to think the same way. Buying a brand name, it's a little bit more of an investment, but you're buying an actual product. They could just be putting like ground up grubs in there and you don't know. You need to be very careful about what you're putting in your body. So buy from reputable brands. Look for third-party testing. I can't emphasize that enough. You can find things at health food stores, trusted online retailers. Ask them about third-party testing. If it's not something they can show you, do not buy that. If it's a therapeutic peptide like BPC-157, CJC-1295, the TA1, the ipamorelin, semaglutide, you need a prescription and a provider. Full stop here. Oh, if someone is selling you these online without a prescription, that is not a green flag. That is a red flag. The quality is unregulated, the dosing is unknown, and the risk is real. And we're talking about your health. We're just not at the age where you want to play with that anymore. Okay. So be very, very careful. And I know it's tempting when you're desperate for answers and you're desperately trying to lose weight and your doctor keeps telling you that your labs are normal and you feel anything but normal, but you need to lose weight. Get on the Mediterranean diet. Here's a piece of paper, those sorts of things. I get it. I'm living with that, but please protect yourself. I think that that's the most important thing that I could say in this. Okay. Speaking of things that I actually support, your body, that actually support your body at a cellular level and that I support, I want to take a second to talk about something that I've been using and it's been genuinely impressive in my life, and talk about healing my gut. Oh my gosh. We just talked about these peptides being little messengers that help your body function better. Well, here's a whole category of nutrition that works really similarly, giving your body that raw material that it needs to do its job and utilize the peptides to heal. And that's where Zevo Life actually comes in. And I'm going to inject, pun absolutely intended here, this into the conversation because it fits perfectly right here, right? Zevo Life is a microalgae. It's a superfood, and it's not just any microalgae like from your grandma's pond. It's a patented strain that has a really long name. It's shortened to ZL01, grown sustainably in Peru. P.S. I'm about to get a daughter-in-law from Peru. Oh, she'll be so proud that I'm getting something from Peru. But 1 teaspoon a day gives you over 50% bioavailable plant protein. It gives you fiber, it gives you antioxidants, it gives you essential fatty acids, and it gives you minerals. And I cannot say enough good things about Zevo Life. It has really radically changed my life, my gut. And it has helped so much. If you think about it, if peptides are like the text message that your body sends to get specific jobs done, Zevo Life is making sure that your phone is fully charged and it has a great signal. It's the foundational nutrition that supports everything like gut health, immune, energy, skin, recovery. I get compliments on my skin all the time, and I really do eat well and take very good care of myself. But I think Zevo Life has radically changed a lot of things at the cellular level inside of my body. The reviews, women talk about better energy. One of the things that got me was less bloating, faster recovery, and reduced cravings. But along with that's going to come the clearer skin. One doctor told her story that she no longer needed thyroid medication after starting it. And that's a powerful statement. That is a power, because we can't regulate our thyroids. And that's very amazing that Zevo Life helped her. And I'm not saying it's like, all that in a bag of chips, but you can try it risk-free for 30 days. And because you are my diva, you get 30% off. Go to zevo.life, use code the Diva Deets, and you'll get the steepest discount, the best discount available. Use my code, the link in the store, the link and the code will be in my show notes. Let me speak English. So anyways, I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe in it and I wasn't using it. So let's bring it home. Peptides are not magic. They are not a shortcut, but they are fascinating. And they are growing an area of wellness that is, I believe, is worth understanding. Because I think things always take you somewhere. Something always opens a door to somewhere else, especially for women over 40 whose bodies are changing in ways that mainstream medicine and mainstream media doesn't always have great answers for. And so here's what I want you to take away today. Number one, collagen, carcinine, and the glutathione are safe, accessible, and worth exploring. Number two, therapeutic peptides like the BP-157, the CJC-1295, the ipamorelin, and the TA1 and semaglutide are powerful, but they require a provider. Please do not DIY these. Please, oh, please, oh, please do not DIY these. And number three, be very, 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 very extra careful about what you buy online. Make sure there's a third party associated with it. And if it sounds too easy, it probably is. Sorry, but it is. If it sounds too cheap, it probably is. Sorry, but it is. And number four, you deserve to understand your own body. Ask questions, push for answers. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for wanting to feel good in your own skin. I think it's really important. And if you want the free Diva Peptides one-on-one guide that goes along with this episode, you can message me the word Diva Peptide, or you can find it in the show notes of my YouTube episode. So if you're not following me on YouTube, find me at Donnie Powers EC. You can find me at Donnie Powers EC on Instagram and on TikTok. You can find me at Donnie Powers on Face of the Book. And if you have questions about peptides, if you have questions about your hormones, your health journey, I am here. And this is literally what I do. We have a giveaway right now. If you haven't seen that online, I'm giving away $1,500 worth of coaching and some prizes for Mother's Day. We've got a free massage. So I'm using a local massage therapist here, but if somebody that doesn't live here wins the prize, I will find a local massage therapist where you are. And I'm also giving away some other gifts as well. And I'm here. This is literally what I do. I'm here for you. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week. And until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas. I appreciate you guys. Have such a great. Thanks for tuning into this latest episode of the Diva Deets. If this helped you and you found it valuable, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Ready for more support? Join my free Facebook community or join my coaching community. The details are in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas.